Pay attention. Silencing the truth is no longer an option. In the glaring fluorescent lights of a hospital ward, what was planned in the dark is now being confessed. Someone who plotted against you is now lying in a hospital bed, their body disintegrating as quickly as their web of deceit, because the universe has spoken. This is divine intervention, not a coincidence. With the IV drip signaling time like a cosmic countdown, the hospital bed has turned into their seat of judgment. Once cloaked in deceit, their lips are now revealing every single detail of their actions. Every scheme, every conspirator, every effort to stop your fate. Don't be misled. There is nowhere to go to avoid this karma. The punishment is being executed with flawless accuracy, and the universe has rendered its decision. Those who believed they could play with your destiny are now facing the most severe penalties, beginning with this hospital bed confession that will bring down their whole house of cards. Those who moved against you were always bound for this fate. Panic spreads like wildfire across their network as they confess. Desperate texts flash on cell phones. To limit the harm caused by the collapsing plan, secret meetings are held. The confession from that hospital bed ruins meticulously prepared alibis, exposing the basis of falsehoods, sustaining their whole operation. Their monument of deceit falls floor by floor, drowning them under its weight. They thought their coalition against you was irreversible. Now watch as they gobble each other up. When light shines into their darkness, former collaborators disperse like roaches. Some people hastily pack their suitcases in the hopes that distance would rescue them. Others hurry to remove evidence because they don't realize that physical proof isn't necessary to comprehend the cosmic ledger. The smarter ones already get in touch with attorneys in the hopes of negotiating reduced terms by testifying against others. The weakest among them utterly collapse under the weight of justice's impending footfall. Nothing can escape them now, no matter how far away they are. The authorities' precise movements are the result of divine timing. Every frightened movement is monitored by surveillance activities. Documentation accumulates. Warrants get ready. The wheels of cosmic consequence and human justice are now properly aligned. The last details needed to guarantee full responsibility are provided by the hospital confession: names, dates, places, and account numbers. There is nowhere to flee or hide. Everyone is affected by karma. Even as the sickness sees them, the person in the hospital bed tried to make last-ditch efforts. In order to preserve their reputation as death draws near, they made fraudulent claims, shifted money, and asked for favors. Now it's all pointless. Their story becomes a cautionary tale of what occurs when someone places himself against divine intent. Their name will be repeated in whispers, a warning about the consequences of such audacity. Despite everything going on around you, you are divinely protected and remain impenetrable. There was never any doubt about your safety. The forces that are lining up to protect your path are not limited by physical boundaries. Their strikes reflected back onto themselves with more intensity, and every effort to penetrate your perimeter failed catastrophically. Their demise was hastened by their aggravation at not being able to get in touch with you. Their graves were dug deeper with each fresh effort. Their doom was progressively cemented by each plot. Others made frantic last-ditch efforts to get in touch with you, but they still refused to comprehend. These desperate tactics, false identities, disguises, and attempts to approach via purportedly shared connections evidence a total detachment from reality. Every step is documented and monitored. Walking within a closed cage, they behave as if they are free. Just enough leeway is given by the authorities for total self-incrimination. Those who are insane still think that escape is conceivable. It wasn't. In ledgers beyond earthly comprehension, your name appears. Those opposing you could never understand the divine imprinting in your design. The protection that surrounds you is impenetrable, absolute, and exists outside of the physical realm. You sometimes experience this during quiet times. the imperceptible barrier keeping you safe from chaotic forces that might otherwise affect your life. Hour after hour, while the bodily form on the hospital bed loses strength, the confession goes on. Nurses see a phenomena that defies explanation. How someone who is so physically impaired may yet talk so urgently. Doctors refer to it as terminal clarity. Spiritually aware, people are aware of the soul's urgent, unburdening before to transition. The whole extent of what was planned against you is captured in the words, which flow naturally. With the finality of flatlined monitors, truth arrives, bringing with it every manipulation, lie, and malicious intent. Your genuine character was never comprehended by the conspirators. They never saw the depths of your spiritual relationship. They just saw the surface reflection. They were unaware of the unseen forces at work inside you, so they planned against what they could see. They did not know that you have cosmic support. They relied their chances on physical resources. They used human limitations as a basis for their strategy. But you work outside of them. This is a message from Mike, the creator of the astral atom-powered obsidian inner order. You accomplished more than just get through your past. It refined you. Every psychic attack, every betrayal, every night you feared you wouldn't survive. It wasn't all for nothing. The forge was that. The blade is now prepared. We meet weekly via live Zoom calls within the Obsidian Inner Order. They are, in fact, recorded. Therefore, you may still press the signal when you're in the pit. A former military drone operator who now uses his thoughts to move matter. A Utah seer who left Mormonism to become a Gnostic. A psychic in Noosa who was once a millionaire CFO. A spiritual healer who clawed their way out of a satanic cult and now channels light like a weapon. And divine warrior goddesses who walk with ancestral fire in their spines are all among the people you will encounter. It's not a story. They are mirrors of your future. You are intended for something more, if you have ever had that feeling. The field is available. There is a war. The circle is awaiting. Join the Inner Order of Obsidians. The description contains a link. We appreciate everyone's support of the broadcast. Without you, we simply could not do this. Their biggest blunder was assuming you traveled alone. This result was required by cosmic law as soon as they set out to harm you. That hospital bed turns into little more than the outward expression of an accounting that started the moment they opted for darkness over light. They never realized that their deeds constituted spiritual death. Therefore, they directed their guns at someone with a divine purpose. The universe merely gave the consequences time to manifest physically. Spiritual law is unbeatable throughout all eternity. Authorities who had suspicions about a lot of the now confirmed information are notified by the confession. Financial records revealing odd trends, conversations intercepted via legal methods, and witnesses coming forward as the plot began to fall apart were all pieces of evidence that gradually accumulated over many months. Final confirmation is provided by the hospital confession, which turns intense suspicion into useful information. There is no chance that the case will be dismissed. Take note, raids are coming, arrests are being ready, and charges are developing. People who are still plotting make crucial mistakes as a result of growing worry. They feel themselves sophisticated, moving to coded language and encrypted conversations. Unaware that every conversation is being recorded by recording equipment, people congregate in places they believe to be safe. Unaware that such talks guarantee their own demise, they murmur about stifling the hospital confessor. Every phrase further erodes their legal foundation. They were unable to see the spiritual gravity of their sin because of their naive pride. They choose you as their target without realizing how important you are spiritually. Where they should have recognized warning flags, they saw opportunity. They sensed vulnerability where total protection existed. They were aware of their physical seclusion, but they failed to see full cosmic support. They listed your limits as a human, but they didn't see your divine link. They neglected to include the most important variable in their equation, and instead calculated risk using insufficient information. With their narrow perspective, they could never understand the mission you bear. Their uncertainty about you and their failure to comprehend why their assaults were failing are shown by the hospital confession. Their annoyance at discovering doors that ought to have stayed open, locked. They were confused when allies abruptly and mysteriously stopped supporting them. Their incredulity when bodily problems appeared, after they tried to hurt you. As the number of coincidences grew beyond statistical possibility, their panic grew. It was too late for them to alter their direction when they started to see patterns. Minor health problems after each effort. Financial setbacks that correlate to assaults on your resources. Relationship breakdowns when someone tries to isolate you. Dreams that include symbols that they reject when they wake up. And instincts that they rationalize away. The cosmos always issues a warning before enacting full consequences. Their destiny was doomed when they decided to disregard these signals. Most people there are unable to sense the energy that pervades the hospital room. Witnesses to this accounting, spiritual presences assemble around the confession. Unaccounted for variations are recorded by the monitoring equipment. Unexpectedly, the indoor temperature lowers. Sensitive people experience pressure shifts that make their skin tingle and their ears explode. The curtain thins as cosmic forces, independent of physical limitations, guarantee that this witness is full. No matter how much the body deteriorates, this confession will be completed. Even if they are physically impossible, certain facts must be spoken. Doctors, nurses, bureaucrats, and the dying confessor are not the only people in the room. Spiritual guardians, karmic accountants, and ancestral witnesses are among the unseen entities that keep watch. With the improved eyesight that dying sometimes bestows, the dying person sees them now. Their pulse quickens and their eyes enlarge. As they become more aware of who their confession is being delivered to, the urgency of their words increases. This confession clearly challenges cosmic law and goes beyond human jurisdiction. This accounting doesn't leave anything out. Names, dates, places, bank accounts, stolen identities, falsified papers, concealed agendas, and words are all revealed. Without any moderation or mitigation, the whole range of actions committed against you is revealed. Full transparency of the cosmic ledger is necessary. Such spiritual debt cannot be balanced by partial truth. The effects are not limited to the hospital room. In houses where accomplices thought they were secure, phones ring. Knocks sound on doors as authorities come with inquiries that pierce through skilled lying. Passports are flagged, accounts are stopped, and computers are seized. The conspiracy's infrastructure disintegrates with startling speed, as though it were being dismantled by unseen hands. People who thought of themselves as small actors learn that cosmic justice does not acknowledge a hierarchy of involvement. Disconnection from spiritual truth is shown by their astonishment. With enough money and contacts, the conspirators were able to traverse the human construct of responsibility being optional. They were unable to acknowledge responsibility as a constant that transcends all human systems. They were always subject to cosmic rule, notwithstanding their lack of spiritual knowledge. Such repercussions were never mitigated by their believing in greater consequences. Its total control over bodily experience was never lessened by their denial of spiritual existence. The reckoning comes just when it should. Some conspirators try negotiation, providing information in return for leniency. Others assert ignorance and insist on having just a restricted understanding of the whole span. Many assign responsibility, shifting the focus to alleged ringleaders. Despite growing evidence, some people insist they are innocent. The most naive people still think that wealth or power will open doors for them to flee what is coming. Nobody knows what they are dealing with. Human repercussions just serve to highlight the spiritual accounting that is already taking place. Conspiracy members get physical problems with inexplicable regularity. Medication doesn't help them sleep. There is no appetite. Energy runs out without a medical reason. Chronic illnesses quickly worsen. Diagnoses are coming in with startling intensity. The spiritual filth they carried is reflected in their bodies. Physical form that more accurately reflects energy reality. Medicine provides short-term control, but no permanent remedy. The hospital confessor was the first to recognize this relationship. After they took especially heinous action against you, they received their fatal diagnosis. They couldn't ignore the message contained in the timing. Their transgressions were symbolically correlated with the particular type of their disease. With every chance for truth that was denied, the process escalated. The body turned into a physical representation of spiritual illness, making them face their transformation as a result of their decisions. When the softer messengers are disregarded, truth comes via suffering. Whispers, synchronicities, intuition cues, and symbolic dreams are always the beginning of the universe. The volume rises when they are ignored. Unintentional incidents with obvious messages, health problems after bad conduct, and relationship mirrors reflecting patterns of behavior. The message, a serious health crisis, devastating losses, and total system collapse, becomes unavoidable when they are also disregarded. The hospital confessor made it to the last communication step. When spiritual debt eats away at bodily form, their body physically disappears. Organ failure occurs in a methodical manner. Treatments don't work against factors that are outside the scope of medicine. The physicians talk of exceptional resistance to intervention, remarkable escalation of symptoms, aberrant test findings confounding explanation. They look for medical explanations for things that are outside of the medical realm. You see this from a safe distance, entirely sheltered from the impending mayhem. You were always protected by a shield. Not once, not during their most intense onslaught, nor when they were most numerous, nor when they used their most effective techniques. Your shielding remained total throughout, but you presumably experienced the effect of their attempts: energy swings, odd exhaustion, momentary emotional upheaval. These symbolized your shield's ability to absorb what was aimed at you rather than allowing it to penetrate. Everything was intercepted by your spiritual team. You made progress while they planned. You rose as they plotted. You grew in the light, while they sat still in the dark. By creating difference, the energy they used trying to block your path encouraged your development. Their assaults unwittingly highlighted your talents, established your course, verified your importance. Their disagreement became an unanticipated spark for your acceleration. Nothing is wasted in the cosmos. The growth of light even benefits from darkness. The hospital confession, the collapsing conspiracy, the impending legal repercussions, the physical manifestations of spiritual corruption, the timing of revelations, the accuracy of justice, and the preservation of your path throughout are all examples of the perfection that those with spiritual understanding see in this unfolding scenario. Cosmic choreography surpasses human orchestration in this whole situation. No human intellect could organize outcomes with such lyrical perfection. The moment for your full vindication in both visible and unseen worlds is drawing near. The forces at work in your experience will soon become clear to those who saw your difficulties without perceiving your protection. Unquestionable confirmation will be given to those who questioned your perceptions. Those who supported you in spite of appearances will rejoice when the cosmos validates their gut feelings. Throughout this chapter, your judgment was perfect. You saw differences in energy that others did not. Beneath the nice presentations, you could feel ulterior motives. Despite their apparent allure, you distanced yourself from relationships that seemed incongruous. Others called you paranoid for upholding limits. When outside voices suggested alternate courses of action, you trusted your inner direction. You identified attacks that others wrote off as luck or coincidence. A vital navigation system was your spiritual sensibility. Every intuitive hit you got is validated by the hospital confession. Every individual whose energy appeared tainted, every circumstance that sent off internal alarms, every connection that seemed like it was draining energy, and every seemingly promising, but secretly motivated opportunity. Although external confirmation sometimes trailed behind your assessment, your internal radar operated flawlessly. Have complete faith in this system going ahead. As this situation is resolved, you find yourself at a turning point.